Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am recording this for the second time. So Mercury retrograde energies are at play right now, absolutely, which is hilarious. So we're going to try this again. I have already pulled some cards because this is going to be a tarot reading today. I definitely am going to give that part two to the last video I did around divine feminine initiation. I'm going to go into divine masculine initiation. But for some reason, it felt like there were some really strong messages that wanted to come through in a tarot reading today. So because I had already started reading, I'm going to actually leave the cards that I have. There was a message that came through in the pre-shuffle that I can try and kind of still give, and then I'm just going to leave these cards. But I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, you can watch these videos for your divine masculine energy within, your divine feminine energy within. It does not have to be about a specific person. This path, this twin flame journey is really here to teach us about inner union, inner wholeness. Most of us approach relationships in a way where there's a lack, there's a hole within us. Therefore, we need to go find somebody else out in the world to kind of fill that void, fill that lack, and then we can be happy. But then we're building a relationship on a very rocky foundation, and it's a lot of distortion. So the path of these twin flames, true loves, we're here to really heal that within our world. We're here to be the example, shift that within ourselves, do that healing within ourselves so that it can be kind of gifted to others. So that, you know, this is a question I get asked a lot, is does everybody have a twin flame? And I'm starting to think that, yeah, we probably all have a twin flame, but because of the pain and suffering in the world, it's very rare to come into union with your twin flame. And it's very rare to meet your twin flame. If you meet your twin flame, I feel like there is a very specific purpose, mission in that incarnation for you and that person that you are here to work through. I think a lot of twin flames will incarnate and their twin won't. So there'll be this deep connection, you know, that's otherworldly, that's not quite in the 3D, and you'll feel that, and you have lessons that you learn without them. But I do believe that as we go through this great awakening and as twin flames do come together in the physical, that we are empowering and healing the world in a way that others will be able to more easily come into union with their twin flames. When they meet them, that they will recognize them, that they will know it is them, and they won't settle. They won't choose the karmic or the distorted relationship and struggle and all that pain and suffering, because the twin flames that came before them transmuted and healed that. It's a little tangent that just came up, and I don't know why, but these are kind of ideas that I've been kind of getting recently, that I feel like Spirit has been kind of revealing to me. Because I think when I first was learning about this, I was like, no, not everybody is a twin flame. Like, there's no possible way. But I just think that many of us don't get to a level of consciousness where we could even call them in, where we could even manifest meeting them. And I feel like in this particular, and I think I've shared this in a video before, but in this particular collective of twin flames, it feels like the divine masculines were in a place of severe suffering and pain, and they had kind of they were shut down. They were so asleep in their lives, but they weren't awakened to that because of addictions, because of codependencies, because of devil energy, where they couldn't even see how bad they were suffering because they were telling themselves that they were fine. And what this did is this actually sent out like an SOS call to their divine feminine. It's almost like they, I've heard another reader coin this term, and I think it's perfect, but like they butt dial manifested their divine feminine. So they didn't consciously know that they were calling her in, but because they were in such a state, and the only person that could have really helped them get out of that is the divine feminine, and that recognition and that awakening and tower moment that happens when the twins meet, they butt dialed, manifested the divine feminine in to kind of have that experience. And the divine feminine, you know, was on a path. You may have even felt like you were manifesting a completely different life, a completely different trajectory prior to meeting your divine masculine. You may have felt like you're doing something else. You know what I mean? I certainly feel like when I met my divine masculine that I was very in tune with spirit. I was working with spirit. I was on a good path. I wasn't off the path. I had done a lot of healing. I'd had this feminine initiation that I had spoke about in the last video. I'd had awakenings. I knew I was a light worker. I was in service. I was coaching. And I was really clear that I wanted to be with a soulmate, that I didn't want to be in any of the toxic relationships I'd previously been in. I didn't want to come together to heal together. I just wanted to come together and have peace and harmony. That was really important to me. So I definitely wasn't on a trajectory of a twin flame union. In fact, I was aware of what twin flames were, and I was like, I know I don't want that. I knew I didn't want that. But you know, when the other half of your soul, when the love of your lives, all your lives, and the love between twin flames is so impenetrable, it's unbreakable. When that person calls you in, this is so beautiful. Actually, it's like, yeah, of course I'll be there. I'll come for sure. May not be what I had in mind in this life. Kind of wanted to take a pause and have some peace, but you called me, so here I am. Which is, I remember when I had that download, when Spirit gave me that download, I it was very emotional for me, because that just reminded me of the depth of the love and how beautiful it really is, and how the two do just fucking love each other. And yeah, so anyways, that was an interesting little tangent. I promise I'm going to go to the cards. When I was on my pre-shuffle, the Lovers came out, and I was sharing in the previous video I tried to record that the energy of the Lovers was really interesting, because I definitely got all the passion and the love and the magic and the mystery, and just this like true love, like soulmate connection, like deep bond off of the card. But I also got an energy of a lot of fear and regret. I got this energy, basically, if I could explain it to you, it was somebody seeing, this is, oh my God, oh shit, you are my lover, you are my true twin soul flame, and it's gone. I fucked it up. I ruined it. Oh no. Oh no. And so it was this very like, oh no feeling. Because it's almost like whoever this is, and usually in my readings, I can't tell if it's masculine or feminine energy, so I just say someone, but it's somebody who didn't recognize it until it was too late. And by the time they recognized it, they were like, oh no, so it was really interesting energy. And now I'm going to go to the first card. So really powerful. I get Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands. So these are two cards of truth. These are two cards of connection to divine knowing, understanding. So these are really powerful cards. Bottom of the deck, I have the World. And then if I dig a little bit deeper in this energy, I have the Ace of Pentacles down here. So the message, I also have the Lovers. So I'm going to give you a little story. And sometimes I read cards this way, sometimes they come through this way. So Ace of Pentacles can be about time spent. So this person that this message is for or about wasted a lot of time getting caught up in pentacles, getting caught up in material world gain, getting caught up in their work, busying themselves, being very unconscious, being very kind of like both of these cards in reverse. Okay, so ignoring their intuition. It's almost like a selfish use of intuition, right? It's almost like, we can all lie to ourselves really easily. We can tell ourselves that we're doing something that we're not really doing. It's easy to do, right? You and I have done it. We all do it, where you can be like, oh yeah, like, maybe you have an event that you want to go to and it's actually very scary for you, but it's going to be that growth moment. If you go and put yourself out there, do this thing, that it's going to be amazing for you. But you can talk yourself out of it, and you can be like, oh no, it's not going to work out because time-wise, and I have this and I have this. That is what this person did. So this person directly ignored their intuition, the signs from Spirit, Ace of Wands, directly ignored the truth about themselves, the truth about their life, the truth about their behavior, the truth about all the things that were going on that were very out of alignment with this Ace of Wands and their true intuition. So they ignored all that for Pentacles, and that's what caused all this time to pass. And on top of that Ace of Pentacles is the Lovers again. So it's that same energy I was reading. It's that, oh no, all this time passed, busying themselves, ignoring, deflecting. And then there was this realization, this reckoning, this awakening. Oh shit. I do love how in this Lovers depiction, it is kind of like the Beauty and the Beast story too. And it's like, I'm hearing like, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't recognize you. But you did. That's the thing about this person, whoever I'm reading for, is they did recognize. They had the recognition. Immediately they had the recognition that this is the Lovers. But their ego, their fear, their pretension, their hiding, their pretending that what they had was really good, pretending that everything that they had going on in their life was so important, really good. You know, they were seeing this other person through a veil, a lens of distortion from their own stuff that they hadn't looked at within themselves, because we're constantly projecting out what's going on within us. And if we're not being honest with ourselves, we're not going to get an honest view of the world. The way that we see others, the way that we see things is going to be coming from a lie and from distortion. So this person, we have the World on top, okay? So that lets me know that this cycle, this pattern is closing, it's ending. And I feel, I have the Nine of Pentacles here as well, and I feel like there, in this Nine of Pentacles energy, there was an emancipation. There was a free from this. They were freeing themselves from this energy, freeing themselves from the lies, from the distortion. And I mean, there's no better cards, better energies to get when we're talking about somebody who was previously dishonest to somebody who is now recognized, acknowledged, completed that cycle, seen truth for what it is, than the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands coming out together. I mean, this is awakening. This is awakening right here. This is massive awakening. So this person has had an awakening. So before I tune into Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine individually, I want to ask a follow-up to this. So like, what is the outcome? What is coming from this? Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't mean to laugh. I do have so much compassion. But yeah, this is, of course, this is what happens. Five of Cups. Five of Cups is the card of absolute despair and depression, and just, and this deck in particular is all about folklore and fairy tales. And I'm not going to get the details of this right, because I don't use my books very often. But I do remember when I first got this deck that this story is basically about this woman who, because of her kind of envy and jealousy and need to look really good, she kind of sold her I feel like it was her children. Like, she basically sacrificed her children for her prestige. Yeah, something around there. So basically, she goes through with this deal because she thinks it's selfish, and it thinks it's going to make her happy. She thinks it's the thing that she wants, but then she's left with nothing. And she's left with the most deepest pain and sorrow and despair she's ever felt, because she realizes through her mistake what was really important. Bottom of the deck, Three of Swords. Okay, so two swords in the heart. One sword in the wing. And I don't remember this folklore, this fairy tale. I wish I did. Yeah, so we just dig a couple layers deeper. We have the Star healing this suffering, this pain. Knight of Wands, what I'm feeling with the Knight of Wands is like somebody who really wants to go forward, somebody who really wants to drive that, figure out what that is. Okay, got cut off. Sorry about that. So somebody who really wants to move forward to this victory, but there has to be this acknowledgement of this pain, this healing. We have Queen of Pentacles, and what I'm really getting is that this is a divine feminine energy, and the way that somebody feels around this divine feminine is nurtured, is seen, is acknowledged, is held, is comforted, is mothered, is it's a very grounded, warm, loving energy. And that was actually very scary to this person. That was very scary to this person, which is kind of being revealed as the story comes through as a divine masculine, because that was not something that this person had ever felt, ever known before. They hadn't experienced that. So therefore, sometimes our ego, if we see it in the world, when we don't understand something, when we don't know something, our automatic reaction, if we're not awakened, if we're not if we're not in honesty and accountability with ourselves, we reject what we don't know, what's not familiar. And so this person had actually never felt this. They'd never felt this from their own mother. They'd never felt this from any relationship. And of course, if you don't feel this from your own mother and your own childhood and your own upbringing, you are not going to be able to recreate that in relationships. What I'm really getting is a person who was void of their feminine connection, void of their feelings, void of their heart. And I'm actually getting that was in childhood, that they did not get an experience of true feminine energy from anyone, anywhere. There was a lot of distortion. And so the divine feminine came in representing this Queen of Pentacles, just like abundance and warmth and love and nurturing. And it was like, well, this is too good to be true. This is not safe. I can't trust this. This is something I must let go of. This is something that I just have to walk away from because it's going to get me in trouble. It's going to get me hurt. Something's going to happen here. And then they got their new perspective. I have the Hanged Man, or yeah, it is the Hanged Man. It's a woman in the card, but so the Hanged Woman. Then they got their new perspective. And when the Hanged Man comes along, that's spirit. That's the divine. The divine comes in, grabs you by your ankles, flips you upside down, and holds you there until you get it. It's like, you're gonna get this. I always shake the camera. I can be so animated when I speak. So I should put warnings on these videos of like, you know, like when you get dizzy, like when someone's like holding the camera and like, I don't know what that is, but you need some Dramamine before one of my videos. So apologies for that. And then right after this hanged man, we have the Three of Swords. And so it's a lot of pain. That's a lot of pain. And it makes perfect sense why I was getting it off of the Lovers. It's so interesting. And you know where this pain comes from? You know where it's sourced from? It's not just the pain around this reckoning and acknowledgement of like, oh shit, that was my true love. Oh shit, that was the divine feminine. Uh-oh. It's that at the end of the day, so let's take this isolated scenario, which is two twin flames. It's a divine masculine who's had this awakening and is like, uh-oh, oh shit, I'm in a lot of pain. And then the divine feminine who has presumably taken her energy back and moved on, moved away, okay? Because that's really what I'm getting is this is a divine feminine who found her worth through this experience, said, I will not accept this anymore. Love you, but I gotta go. And so let's just say that this is where we end it, that this masculine stays crippled in this depression, fear, worry, sadness. They don't move forward. They take no action from it. This divine feminine goes on. This divine feminine is going to be able to say, I did all I could. I was honest. I was vulnerable. I told this person how I felt. I shared my heart. I gave it all. I gave and gave and gave. I was this Queen of Pentacles. I was nurturing. I was loving. I was mothering. I got very little in return, especially energetically. I mean, in some of these divine feminine, divine masculine connections, I feel like divine masculines were all talk. Certainly wasn't the experience I had, but like what I mean by that is a masculine who's like, oh, I love you, you're the best, like, oh my gosh, you're my soulmate, you're my true love, like, you know, said all that stuff, but then their actions reflected very differently. You were always last. You were never quite, you know, they weren't quite thinking of you when they made choices and plans. They weren't, you know what I mean? They were perhaps, you know, I was going to say cheating, but maybe never really fully committed to you and therefore was engaging with other energies besides yours. You know, that sort of thing. And then other masculines just never opened up and never told you how they really feel. And even when you did, they were like, yeah, I just don't necessarily feel the same way as you. And it's like, really? Really? You didn't? That's interesting. It's so interesting because you don't get these cards. If you don't. You just don't. You don't get Five of Cups. You don't get Three of Swords. I mean, these cards are like, you don't get that from someone that you have a crush on or a like, or someone that you've hooked up with a couple times, or someone that you had kind of like a short little relationship. And it's all this time that has passed that's shown that this connection, this depth of love has not gone away. And that's partly what's inspired this awakening and shown this masculine, like, no matter what I do, I can't shake this person off. I can't really walk away. I've tried and I've tried. My ego's tried to get me to walk away, but I can't. So back to this little story. The divine feminine was the Queen of Pentacles. So she can walk away and she's going to get the recognition that's due her because she was listening to spirit. She was working with the divine. She was in partnership with spirit on this journey. Spirit presented her with this twin flame journey, with this gift, with this person. And she said, okay, I get it. Yeah, I'm game. Let's do it. And so she listened, she or he, non-gender specific, listened to this message and worked with spirit. The divine masculine did the direct opposite. They were presented a gift and they shit on it, quite literally, and they ignored it, and they told themselves it's not real. And every opportunity they had, every intuitive hit that they got, Ace of Wands, the truth, like the recognition of this person, and like, now you're gonna have, you're gonna have to make changes in your life to be with this person. But every time they came to those crossroads, they went against the divine. They went into devil energy. So every opportunity they had, they went the other way. And taking the spiritual aspect aside, they didn't speak their truth. They weren't vulnerable. They didn't really put in the effort or try. So this person is going to sit in that pain and karma forever until they heal it. And it's not going to be so easy for them to do that. They're the divine doesn't like it when the divine gives us gifts and we poo-poo on it. The divine doesn't reward that. So in this story, it's really sad. I'm excited I'm going to pull some other cards to kind of like, I'm going to get out of this energy quickly because I don't love being here. But it's a person who really ignored, deflected for a long time, and now they're feeling that. And they now they're getting the guidance and the intuition to change that. And we'll see what they do. But they won't be able to let go of this pain until they move into some form of an honesty with themselves. Okay. Tell us about the divine feminine. We were really tuning into divine masculine there. Oops. Divine feminine. Interesting. Okay. I'm digging deeper into the energy because the cards that came up are really interesting. Okay, so we have a divine union here. Four of Wands, King and Queen of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Temperance. I'm gonna get a clarifier. So we get the three of Swords that comes up. We just mirrored divine masculine. So divine feminine could be experiencing some pain at this time. Could be experiencing a feeling of it's over. Yeah, so what I have here is I have a divine masculine and a divine feminine who really think that it's over. They really think that it's over. It's done. Give me a card on this Three of Swords, please, Spirit. Or give me three. Wow. This is so crazy, you guys. Okay. Bottom of the decks are always kind of like the story, the deeper energy when I'm pulling. And when I just pulled on that deck, I got a divine union counterpart. So anytime it's a king and queen of the same suit, that's a counter, those are counterparts. So I just get King and Queen of Swords in my bottom of the deck with the Four of Wands. And then in this deck, I'm getting Queen and King of Pentacles. Okay, so what I'm feeling here, this is a message for some. You, as a divine feminine, could be looking at other options. We have Seven of Cups. So this Three of Swords is almost, okay. Here's what it is. There's some divine feminines here that have moved on. Perhaps you're dating. Perhaps you're with somebody else. Perhaps you're looking to get your wish fulfillment, okay? You're looking to go to your Nine of Cups because you feel that you have not gotten it with this divine masculine and this twin flame connection, and you're just over it. You're done. You're moving away. Six of Swords, moving away. Page of Wands. So it's like a cover up here. What's really going on is you're feeling a lot of pain. You're feeling those three swords in the heart. You're feeling this sorrow that it was a loss. But the surface layer energy is you're like looking to, okay, but I have all these options. Like I have other people interested. Like I'm going to be happy. I'm going to find it somewhere else. I'm excited to move on. Like boo, boo, boo. You know, Page of Wands is very like, it's the word. You see, I'm just like moving. It's like this. It's like like I'm excited. I have new projects. Like I'm gonna go do this thing. You know, you're just like you're telling yourself this. It's funny because I just got done talking about a divine masculine who kind of lied to themselves a lot in this connection, and now he's been like dragged by the ankles by the divine, and he can't lie to himself anymore, and he's at this awakening, he's in like deep sorrow and pain. And then look at what divine feminine is doing. Divine feminine is like, yeah, I'm gonna move on, like I have all these other people interested, like it's not a big deal, like Queen of Swords, I'm cutting this out of my life, like I'm just gonna sit on my throne, and like I don't need the king. I'm like independent, I don't need the king, I'm moving away, right? And then bottom of the deck is King and Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and Judgment, and Ace of Swords. So divine feminines, some of you may be having your own little reckoning, awakening at this time. If you had told yourself that you could move on and you were gonna go find greener pastures. The grass is greener on the other side. You may be experiencing this in the form of being in a relationship with someone else and not being fulfilled and thinking that that would have made you happy. It's almost like if there's a void that you're trying to fill and you're trying to fill it with other things, you're doing exactly what divine masculine did, and B, you're realizing, Tower, that that's not what's going to make you happy, that's not what you were actually being guided to do. So you may have turned away from your guidance. Let's see. And the only reason, divine feminine, that I am reading it as you, I mean, look, we have Temperance on the bottom of the deck. So Temperance is like the card of the divine angels, you know, protection, love, patience. It's almost like you were sick of waiting around. You were sick of this patience. You were being so protected, so guided, so loved, so moved by the divine, and then you just got a little bored and you just got a little antsy and you were like, you know what, no. And the only reason I'm reading it that way is because the devil came out as well. So this is your own devil energy of like impatience, of, you know, kind of like, I get it, trust me, I get it, because you're just sitting there like, this isn't fair, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like let me move on, let me do my thing, let me live my life. And so the devil energy I'm sensing here is just a little bit of a cover up that there actually is a lot of pain, that it didn't work out with your masculine, that it hasn't happened. So the message here for divine feminine to really be in her truth would be to acknowledge and embrace that you are hurting. Whatever you're doing that's taking you away from this connection, be in real honesty about it. Even if it's just being a little bit of a workaholic, you know, even if it's just anything you can do to distract yourself, whatever it is, just be in ownership and honesty around it. That's all you can do on this journey. Acknowledge the truth of your feelings, acknowledge what's really coming up for you, and then let it transmute, release it, and let it leave you. But I am getting this message here with the Tower. This Tower is not that something's going to happen in the internal world for divine feminine. The Tower is that there is a divine masculine on his way, and you're not going to see it coming, and it's going to be very unexpected, and you're going to be very caught off guard because you thought you were moving on. I have a Six of Swords I'm trying to show you. There you go. You thought you were done. You thought it was over. You thought you were like, I mean, you could be with someone else when this person comes along. There's no time in the energy also, so we don't know when this is, but I'm seeing a Tower with a divine masculine who is inspired, passionate. This is very sexual energy. It's very creative energy. It's very like, I'm claiming what's mine. I'm going and getting this. I'm doing this thing that they've needed to do. Yeah, because we have Six of Pentacles. So someone that was breadcrumbing, someone that wasn't giving, that's ready to give, to work together, to build something, someone that's ready to speak the truth about this heartbreak, this pain, this loss of this connection. And we have the Ascension card, Three of Wands, like moving to a higher consciousness and in partnership, in alliance, and working together. So that's what this Tower is, because I was really curious. I was like, oh, divine feminine, what Tower do you got coming? You have like a very positive Tower coming. And I'll get a card on the Devil. Yeah, it's exactly that. Oh, you guys are mirroring each other. Divine feminine, divine masculine mirroring each other. She gets Five of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So the Devil energy right now, divine feminine, is the indecision. It's the Two of Swords. It's the, should I stay or should I go? And divine feminine, I know where this is coming from. Okay. I had a conversation the other day with someone about this. So Divine Feminine right now is being asked to sit still. Divine Feminine right now is being asked to sit in her Empress energy, to be on her throne. But Divine Feminine energy doesn't move. She doesn't take action. Divine Feminine doesn't go to somebody. People come to her. And not in like an emperor ego energy, not in like a, you know, you must come to me. No, it's because she's Divine Feminine. She is the channel of divine love and receiving. So when she trusts that she is that she's worthy of that, and she can sit still, she allows things to come to her. She allows downloads, inspiration, everything she channels. It all just comes to her when she sits still. People, suitors, gifts, invitations, love, I don't know, you name it, all the stuff, right? It just comes to her. But we live in a world of distorted masculine energy where we feel like if we want something, we need to go out and get it. We need to bang on doors. We need to like make it happen for ourselves. And that is not, I just saw 717. That is not what you were being asked to do right now. But because that can be kind of uncomfortable, you know, I feel like it's fine for an extended period of time, right? We can sit in that space for a couple weeks where we're just like, oh, this is fun. I can just play. I can just enjoy. I can just do all these feminine things. I can just, you know. But if you feel like you've been in that for an extended period of time and you're starting to project that it's this other person's fault, that it is a masculine's fault, or it's spirit, the divine's fault, you start to feel very like, the fuck am I doing? Like, I need to get out of this. Like, I just noticed that I have coffee on me. Oh, I love that was caught on camera. Me smelling my armpit. It's coffee. Okay. So, you know, feeling this like pressure, like I have to do something, I have to get out of this. And so that may be looking at other options. It may be taking action and movements that aren't guided, that aren't actually aligned. And this is just your devil energy. And for some of you, maybe you haven't taken actions. Maybe these are just things you're wrestling with in your mind because there's an avoidance of the true pain. But if you allow yourself to acknowledge the pain, feel the pain, whatever that means to you, however that shows up, just allow it to come through. And then once you do that, then you can be released from it. And also let yourself off the hook. There's nothing for you to decide. There's nothing for you to know. Just as that message that was coming through earlier, Divine Feminine did her work. You listened. You listened to spirit. You embraced this connection. You were vulnerable. You showed up. You gave. 6 of Pentacles. You were Queen of Pentacles. You got hurt. Yeah, you got hurt. Okay, you did. But you're going to get repaid for that. There is, you know, there's no time and energy, and time and patience are one of the biggest challenges when we're working in 5D and 3D, because in 3D it's dense, there's time, and we have to be patient, and things take time to take root and to figure themselves out. But in 5D it's instantaneous, you know, and so that can be a hard lesson for Divine Feminine, because she's like, well, I'm getting all these downloads that things are going to be okay and I'm going to be supported and all my manifestations are going to come through, but then I don't see them happening. So go deeper and deeper into that void. Go deeper and deeper into that rest. Go deeper and deeper into the place where you are held in your knowing, where you are supported by the divine. This divine timing, this wheel of fortune, is happening without you doing any work. You don't need to be pulling any strings. You don't need to be taking any action. Your 4 of Wands is here. And when you sit and rest in that, it empowers your divine masculine to take action, because they start to realize, oh, she's not coming for me. She's not rescuing me this time, energetically speaking or otherwise. Because that's kind of a spin that we can get in on these journeys, where Divine Feminine rescues Divine Masculine a lot. Energetically, emotionally, vibrationally, literally sometimes, you know? And that has to end. Masculine has to face his karma. He has to face his lesson, and his lesson is to be vulnerable. His lesson is to put himself out there. And so if you keep doing that for him, he's not going to do it. If you kind of get impatient and get restless and choose to go do something else, well, I don't know if that would mess with anything, but I mean, it messes with your peace. It messes with your state of mind. Okay. So just, again, the message for both is always be in honesty and transparency with yourself above all else. When you're in honesty and transparency with yourself of how you're really feeling, that you are in pain, that this is a real thing, then you are going to be able to be seeing the world from a truthful gaze. You're going to be able to understand what's actually going on. You're going to be able to speak your truth to somebody else. I'm just waiting to see if there's any other messages that want to come through, because there is this redemption story here, Divine Feminine. There is a redemption story. Let's get another card on that. Tower. I knew that card. I felt that. That's what's coming. And it fell on the floor. So as you guys know, if you've been watching me, when cards fall on the floor, they have a lot of meaning. So the card clarifying this Tower is the Eight of Wands. That's communication, that's forward movement, that is all that good stuff. Completion of this cycle, the end of the Ten of Swords, the end of pain, the end of indecision, the end of confusion. That is this Tower. That is what's coming. Divine Feminine, just sit in your throne, sit in your seat of trust and knowing, and allow, receive. I know it's not easy. So whatever you got to do to take care of yourself, honor yourself, heal yourself. I said I was going to tune into specific Divine Masculine energy. Divine Masculine is kind of what came up, what wanted to come up. But I'm going to grab a couple cards on that. Okay, wow. That's a lot of cards, Divine Masculine. Yep, new perspective. Wow. Okay, Divine Masculine had so much that just came out. Where do I start? Well, let's start at the Empress. So the motivation, the passion, the drive is being fueled by this magnetic attraction, draw to the Empress, to the Divine Feminine. You are all he sees. You are all he feels. You are in everything. This feminine energy is in everything, because it's like he had this awakening, this new perspective, this hanged man energy of his own feminine energy, and this is what is allowing him to see the Divine Feminine for what she truly is in the truth. There's been so much healing, and I'm actually getting with this Eight of Pentacles a sense of self-mastery, like the masculine coming into their mastery, their acknowledgement of taking ownership, taking responsibility. There it is. Page of Cups and the Fool. So there is a feeling of not being quite matched emotionally with Divine Feminine from masculine is what I'm getting from this. They're feeling like they're a page. They're feeling insecure. They're feeling a little like vulnerable. Being vulnerable is very uncomfortable for them. Sometimes messages come through where I don't quite want to speak them into existence. But it does feel like this new beginning, this Fool energy that this masculine wants to initiate, that they may not show up with a full cup of love. And the only reason that would be the case is their insecurity, is their fear. And what they really want and what they really feel is really deep, deep love. But their fear keeps them from expressing. However, this is the karma that they're having to work through. This is what they're having to heal. It's what Spirit's saying. You have to heal this. This is causing a lot of burdens. So we have King of Cups here and 10 of Wands in reverse. So this is somebody who's wanting to release all these burdens of keeping that cup of love. So the King of Cups typically doesn't share. The King of Cups has a lot of love to give. They're the king. They're the match to the Queen of Cups, which is like so much love. But because of self-sabotage, because of fear, because of kind of just keeping their cards close to the, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, why does the King of Cups not share? It's interesting. Well, that cycle is being ended. This is a 10, it's in reverse. So the burden is put down when this Divine Masculine takes the forward step, momentum, forward movement, when they put themselves out there. That's the irony. Like, we work ourselves up into our head, or in our head our head tells us lies. And in our head, it tells us that this is going to be super hard. This is going to go really poorly. This person's going to get mad at me. They're going to be angry. There's going to be a fight. These are all the things that I feel like the masculine is telling themselves, where there's just like a lot of fear about this new beginning. Like, can I do it? Am I going to live up to, like, am I healed enough? You know, does she hate me? Is she with someone else? Is she going to reject me like I rejected her? You know, like whatever, right? Like all that stuff. And it's all head noise. And we work ourselves up in our head about things like that. And then what we realize is that, like, when we actually just do the thing, it's way less scary than we thought it was going to be. It's not as hard. It's not as difficult. It's just like easy. You know, it gives us everything that we want. Everything that we were stressing about was an illusion. It wasn't the truth. So it feels like this masculine is recognizing that and ending that cycle and putting an end to all these burdens and all this stress and this anxiety around speaking their truth. Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. This is someone coming forward. It's communication. So we have Six of Wands, we have Ten of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. So these are all really powerful energies around destiny, around union, around this is a higher spiritual love, and it will be successful. And it'll be successful not only in the 5D but in the 3D. I mean, the Ten of Pentacles is like the legacy being left. It's like two people that partner, that love, that have a family, that pass on their wealth, their abundance, their gifts, their knowledge, their wisdom, and it creates a legacy. It puts a ripple effect out into the atmosphere, into the atmosphere, out into the energy fields of you know, of the atmosphere, and it heals, and it's powerful. Legacy is a very, very powerful energy, and this happens from union, like the two powers coming together to be an even stronger unified front. And that's also reminiscent of the Hierophant here. But this person has some self-sabotaging behaviors. Five of Swords they have, and that's their pain. It's what they've suffered in the past. It's the stories and beliefs that they've told themselves. It's their upbringing. It's their programming. It's societal conditioning. It's the things they're transmuting. It's any unhealthy environments, people, places, things that they spend time with. That energy you absorb. I mean, I don't care what you say. Who you spend time with, no matter what capacity, you absorb their shit. So, you know, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm not their friend. I just work with them. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're taking in that energy, and we become that. And so those are all the things that get them caught up in that self-sabotage. But it looks like this divine masculine is feeling that pressure, that pain, that suffering, and that's what's actually moving them forward to put an end to this cycle of burdens. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to leave you with this message. I hope it's empowering. I hope Divine Feminine can release any of the kind of deception she may have with herself, or at the very least, any of this devil energy that's keeping her in indecision and fear. And Divine Masculine, I hope Divine Masculine can feel empowered, loved, supported by the divine, by the cosmos, by the earth, by his Divine Feminine, to release the illusion, the noise, the fear, the head noise that's telling him he's not good enough, or he can't do this, or it's over, or whatever. Because the divine is making this happen. That's really, okay, that's an overall message I'm getting. No matter how much Divine Feminine wants to run away, move on, walk away, no matter how much Divine Masculine wants to avoid this burden, this pain, this, you know, being vulnerable, the divine is like, I'm sorry, kids. This is mommy and daddy who's like, you don't get a choice, kids. You're going to go apologize. You're going to do your homework. I don't care what you want. I don't care what your ego wants. I don't care what you think you want. I know best in this situation, and your best path, your best life is here. That's kind of what I'm getting, which is actually really giving me a good chuckle. So, and that's something I've actually heard people debate about too. Like, do we have the freedom of choice? Do we have that? And it's like, yes and no. Like, yes and no. And I'm seeing that in this. Like, yes, you can always choose wrong. That's what Spirit's saying. You can make the wrong choice, but it's going to circle itself back around, because it has to balance. Like, these connections have to balance themselves out. Some may get closure, but that closure is only going to come, I believe, from the facing it conversation, the Eight of Wands. That's the only way that you will get the closure. So All right. This is an interesting reading. I will definitely try and come back soon to do the divine masculine, share some information about that initiation. But for whatever reason, these messages, this reading really wanted to come through. Thank you for being here. Sending you guys so much love. If you're interested in a personal reading, if you're interested in working with me in coaching or any information about what I do, it's all down below in the description box. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your donations, your love, your support. The more you engage on this channel, the more I'm able to grab in and tune into your energy, and the more these readings will feel personal. So this was a super interesting reading that came through, and I'm so curious to know whose story this is. Those of you that have been engaging, I'm probably picking up on you. So anyways, I'm sending you guys lots of love. Have a beautiful day.